round, the Buccaneers still ended up receiving a B- grade from Pro Football Focus as they drafted potential Tom Brady successor, Kyle Trask. And as for the Chiefs, well, they didn't have a first-round pick after trading it away, but still ended with a B+ grade from Pro Football Focus. So, Shannon, did the draft change your Super Bowl picks?
It really did not, Skip. I still like the Chiefs because the Chiefs' first-round pick is a 25-year-old Pro Bowl left tackle, Orlando Brown. That's pretty good. Now, everybody else has projections. We know what Orlando Brown is. He's a two-time Pro Bowl tackle. Yep. So they did pretty good. They go into the draft, they get a center in Creed Humphrey. If I'm not mistaken, hasn't given up a sack in over 2 years. We see what they did in free agency, Skip. Brought Kyle Long. If he can stay healthy, he was an all-pro player. All the additions, Joe Tooney. They got the center from the Rams. Mm-hmm. So I like what they did. I don't think anybody does. Skip, it's just so hard to say, and that's what I tell people. I said, did you draft? He's like, oh, we got the guy. That's the guy we wanted. But until you get him in your building, Skip, and put shoulder pads on him, you really don't know what you got. You hope that he gives you what he showed you on tape and what all the things that you've been scouting, but you really don't know. So for me, I still like the Chiefs. I still like the Bucs. The Bucs, when they bring everybody back, they didn't have to do a whole lot. And they took another running back, Skip, in the third round. Although they tried to tell you, Skip, they keep adding running backs. Mm-hmm. What it tells me, I love what Kansas City did. They took a linebacker also, speedy, sudden, impactful. He's smallish, but he can get to the football. The Bucs says, look, Skip, we play with house money. For the most part, all of their guys are fairly young, with the exception of You do realize, like, David White is like 25. Levante David is 32, but he doesn't have a whole lot of wear and tear on him. Mm-mm. So for them, they're like, we play with house money. We got guys that's probably might be special teams guys this year, Skip. Probably not going to get a whole lot of playing time. Mm-hmm. But when you win the Super Bowl, what exactly do you need? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm saying, Skip, it's like you do realize you saw how we finished the season. You see what our defense is doing. So they got maybe they added a little depth. Kyle Trask. I mean, the only thing they got Brady's a parent. The only thing he got like Brady is a knee brace. That's the only thing I see between the similarities between him and Tom Brady.
True.
I see no other similarities, but that's just me, Skip. We'll see how that pans out down the road. But I don't think I like what the Ravens have done. I like what a lot of teams have done. But until you meet these guys, until somebody kick the butts out of the playoffs, I'm going to have to see it to believe it.
So it pains me to admit this, but I loved the Kansas City Chiefs draft. And I'll give you Orlando Brown on top of that because he is really good.
He is.
And so is Nick Bolton, who they took with their next pick, the first pick of the draft night, Nick Bolton out of Missouri, second round. I've watched him a lot, and trust me, he leaps off my screen just the way Micah Parsons did because he is a flat-out sledgehammer of a linebacker. He doesn't just hit people, he destroys people. And smallish in height,
right.
6-foot-ish,
right.
232-ish, but he's stout, and he packs as big a wallop as anybody I saw in college football.
But, Skip, that's what you need. The linebackers need to be smallish because they're going to be 3 down because most everybody's playing with 3 wide receivers.
That is correct. So he will strike a blow. He will impose his will on other teams. And they needed that kind of attitude and edge on defense because every time I watched him, sometimes against my Vanderbilt Commodores, he just wreaked havoc because when he hits you, you just stay hit. You stay down. And so I love that pick in the second round, 26th pick in the second round, but I love this one more. I know Creed Humphrey because I'm a University of Oklahoma fan. I know Orlando Brown real well because I'm an Oklahoma fan. Creed Humphrey started when he was a freshman. He was a state wrestling champ, and he just took over the offensive line as a freshman. And I have no idea why his stock fell.
You love those guys, Skip.
I think
wrestled.
People just talk themselves out of it for whatever reason. He's just a football player. He just knows how to control the middle of the line of scrimmage.
Great hands. So that means if you wrestle, that means you got great hands and great feet.
Great feet. And he had it right away as a freshman. He just jumped in with all those stud juniors and seniors and took the line over.
Right.
Well, trust me, he's going to be Patrick Mahomes' best friend because he's going to be the signal caller of that that unit. He's very smart. I couldn't believe he was sitting there and that they took him, because that is a huge upgrade.
And what was, Skip, was a huge liability, what they lacked a lot of depth last year, is going to be a strength of the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
Well, it sure appears.
You look at what they added in free agency.
I'm not the biggest Tooney fan, because Belichick franchise tagged him and then said, I'm done.
Right.
You know, okay. And I'm not sure that you didn't overpay there, but the rest of it, Orlando Brown and maybe
Blight.
Yeah. And
so Blight, somebody might move the guard to make, because Skip, in a situation like this, you want to get your best 5 players. I understand that Humphrey and Blight both play Creed Humphrey both play the same positions. But if one can play guard, I want to get my 5 best linemen on the field. Obviously, the guy that opted out, the doctor that opted out, is coming back, Cardiff. And so Miang, he opted back in.
He did.
And Kyle Long. Kyle Long was special. If he can just stay healthy. Now, maybe this year off, a year and a half off, that he got a chance to heal his body up.
Yep.
But
I agree with you. The quote-unquote weakness in the Super Bowl became their strength.
Yes.
So I would love to see a rematch between Tampa and Kansas City.
Right out here.
And Mahomes would take it on the chin again.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Well, he just will.
No, he won't be able to. Because Orlando Brown said that Patrick Mahomes is not going to be running for his life on my watch. You heard the man. 6'8", 335 pounds, says that's not happening.
I thought you told me that what Patrick Mahomes does best is to run for his life.
No, that's what he does.
Well, you said he's an escape artist. He loves to throw it on the run. Maybe you throw it between his legs. Maybe you throw it behind his back.
No, Skip.
Maybe you throw it with his eyes closed.
Not every play. If you look at the 2 games, the games that he lost to Tampa in the Super Bowl, he lost to the Raiders. Those were the most scramble yards by a quarterback in the NFL this season. 497, 495.
Yep.
So that lets you know that the way you beat the Chiefs is to put immense pressure on the quarterback. Well, Andy Reid's like, okay, that's how y'all think y'all can beat us. Let me fortify this. Make it much more difficult and see if you can have the same level of success. I like what they've done. I like the linebacker because I think they could use some help in that. They got, they're going to be different. They're going to be a tough out. Baltimore got better. Cleveland took another DB because they said, you know what? In order for us to get to where we need to be, what we need to do, Skip? We need to rush Patrick Mahomes, but we need to cover. So Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams and all these guys, they got the guy from the cornerback from the Rams. So they're saying, look.
No, they're loaded.
They believe
on paper they're the best in that division.
They believe to get to where they need to be, they're going to have to go through Buffalo. They're going to have to probably go through Kansas City, and they're going to have to do it with their defense. They're going to have to cover those receivers, and they're going to have to go get the quarterback.
Okay. So speaking of Baltimore, I still have a lot of hope for them, and I still think Lamar will be much better next year.
Yes.
Those 2 kids they took, I like both of them, the receiver from Purdue and the one from Oklahoma State. They can both play, and they can both fly.
Didn't they take a receiver from Minnesota?
I'm sorry, Minnesota.
Big guy.
Rashad Bateman. Yes, I'm sorry. That was Minnesota first and then Oklahoma State. Bang, bang.
Yes.
I think listen, they always draft so well.
They do.
They got him help. And obviously they got Sammy Watkins, and they still have a big stud possession receiver in Mark Andrews.
Right.
And they still got the cherry on top in Hollywood going deep. It'll just be a little better than it was. They led the league in rushing last year, so they'll balance up a little bit more, and they're going to be a factor. So I still give Kansas City the edge because now you're protecting the 2 year ago MVP much better than you protected him last year. But I will not bet against Tampa Bay. They are so loaded. I've never seen anything like it. You bet against them bringing everybody back, and they flat out brought everybody out. You thought some would want to get paid, and nobody wanted to get paid any more than Tampa would give them.
Correct.
And obviously Golston got the tag. Okay, so the point is...
Godwin
got the tag. And so the point is on Tom Brady that he changed the culture.